Hello everybody, it's me Ghostmate. Today I'm going to be reading KinnPorsche, and we are finally on the last chapter of volume 1. Wow, it feels just like yesterday I started reading this, you guys, and it's like, uh, I closed and opened my eyes and it was already the last chapter. But yes, we are finally on chapter 15. Instinct. Before I start reading, I'm going to give my typical disclaimer. That is that I have no affiliations with 7Cs, with Beyond Cloud, the author, or any affiliation with anything, professional whatsoever. This is just us gal pals reading for funsies, so yay. What else? Oh yeah, I am not a native Thai speaker, so there'll probably be names of places, songs, or references that are more Thai specific. But I'm not trying to make fun or a mockery of the Thai language. I just do not speak it. I'm still trying to learn the Thai language because I find it really fun and pretty. But yeah, sadly enough, I'm still not at a level where I can just pop off some great Thai here. Second disclaimer is that even though I do speak English, it doesn't always translate well when I'm reading because, I don't know, I get nervous. You guys make me shy. But yeah, I'm going to start reading chapter 15 and say, I don't want to start. I don't want to start because then that means I'm going to have to finish. But yeah, don't worry. I already have volume 2, so you're not going to have to wait too long. Although I will probably not read it immediately. I do want to, keep up, get up to date with some of the other books I'm reading, but do not worry. I will come back to KinnPorsche, very fast. You probably won't even notice it. But yes. I should probably start getting, actually reading the book. I just don't want it to end. But at 1, at 2, at 3, we're reading Instinct. And as you remember, if there is no POV, it's most likely going to be Porsche. If it doesn't say it, it's probably Porsche. Except for last time, it didn't say it, and apparently it was somebody else, but you can ignore that. So, let's begin. You imbecile! A shout echoed through a rented house in the suburbs. You couldn't even get him in the car? I didn't know he'd be going so slow on the bike. I thought I could cut him off and grab him. How was I supposed to know that little shit would ride so damn leisurely? Responded a man on the opposite side of the room. See, we're not in Porsche's POV. Who are we? His eyes mirrored the rage of the man who was accusing him. He wanted to mangle that little shit with his car and drag him away, but he couldn't fathom why the hell his target was so slow. Isn't there a better way than this stupid plan of yours? Both men were right in each other's faces. It wouldn't be long before the fight got physical. Let's get physical. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna have to add a disclaimer. I'm not encouraging violence. I'm saying this because I got a warning on my channel because, I don't know, they think I'm enticing violence. I don't know if you guys can see, but chapter 10, sorry for side tangent, but I'll come back on topic in a moment. Yeah, chapter 10, yeah, apparently got a violation for violence. I'm not encouraging violence. I'm just reading a book. Side tangent over, okay? But let's go back. Both men were right in front of each other's faces. It wouldn't be long before the fight got physical. Your boss has his people following him around. How was I supposed to get him? He shot back with a humorless chuckle. Both men grabbed each other's collars, and the others in the room had to pull them apart. Both of you are so loud that I can hear it from the front yard. Are you fighting again? The speaker was a tall, dignified man with a deep voice. He was dressed in casual attire, and his presence caused all bickering inside the house to cease immediately. Everyone greeted him with a wide gesture. Hello, boss. The boss strolled to a sofa and languidly sat down before lighting a cigarette. You piece of shit, he said in an ice-cold voice, smiling cunningly. Shivers went down the spine of everyone who heard him. I have no idea what these guys were up to. A man in a black shirt said to the boss, sounding agitated. Perhaps they were waiting for Mr. Kinn to capture him first. Shh, calm down. Porsche is not a piece of cake. You can't just mess with him. It's not that easy, the boss said, blowing out the smoke and watching as it spread throughout the room. Listen to me. If you're too slow, Mr. King will get him first. I won't wait until that happens. I will get a taste of Porsche before that bastard Kin does. The more Kin wants him, the more I want him. He put on a scornful smile as he thought of the strong hand some strong man who was both his enemy and the center of his desire. Then do something. The sooner you can separate Portis from Mr. Kin, the better. Or better yet, kill him. The man in the black shirt said with a pout. He despised that man more than anything. He wanted to distance Portis from his boss and get him out of sight. The reason you're rushing me. Do you have another motive? Something more than mere hatred? The boss asked as he squinted at the man in front of him, searching for a hidden agenda. See what happens if you spare him? You can see how skilled he is. The day we attempted to snipe him at the shooting range, didn't he kill your people? Asked the man. The day at the shooting range had only been intended as an intimidation tactic. His boss only wanted to see that much talked about bodyguard rumored to possess exceptional skills. He was skillful indeed, handsome as well. I'm not surprised that Kin likes him so much. Don't you think the same? The boss said, his lips curved up slightly into a smirk as he looked at the man before him. Now, he had an inkling of what this man wanted to get rid of Porsche, of why he wanted to do it. If we spare him, your business will suffer, the man protested. And if he is the one close to Mr. Kin, you can forget about the consequences and new trade route. Mr. Kin and Mr. Korn trust him. He currently didn't have access to any of the documents, seeing how Mr. Tankun and Mr. Kin asked for Porsche all the time. He knew it would be more difficult for him to intervene if they became more closely acquainted in the future. Brown sugar wow levels. I know. And you keep talking. I know. And you keep talking business, but I bet seeing Ken openly show how much he wants Porsche makes you resentful. The boss said with a chuckle, making the other man glare daggers at him. He too desired Porsche. Honestly, who didn't? That man was very attractive. Moreover, the fact that Ken wanted Porsche himself only fueled his desire. He was also aware that the man in front of him considered Ken to be more than just his boss. You better hurry up if I'm warning you. I want Porsche so badly. It delights me to know that Ken won't be his first. This man was known for repeatedly targeting Ken's partners. He did not necessarily intend to cause Ken any grievous harm, but that didn't mean he never thought about it. Right now, it was more enjoyable to strap him in the back. Now we're in Porsche's POV. You don't want to go today? You don't want to go out today, Mr. Tankun? I asked, exhausted. Tankun was not in a good mood today. He was mad at me for not locking Vegas in a storeroom yesterday. When he explicitly ordered me to. Who in the right mind would actually do that? Besides, Vegas was nice to me. Damn. I'm not going anywhere. I want to watch TV. I'm in a bad mood. We all put on a straight face, waiting for Tankun to pick out some idiotic rom-com. But going out is more fun than watching TV. I tried to convince Tankun after seeing my colleague's sunken face. Paul looked like he was about to cry, and an arm kept poking my back. Please, I don't want to stay. I'm tired and my head aches. And my headache hasn't gone away. Yet. I hit my head on the edge of the fountain yesterday. Didn't you see? Tankun replied. Why couldn't he have just hit his head harder and fucking died? But I was planning to take you to Donglor. A little note here. Donglor is an upscale, hip district in central Bangkok with a lot of bars and restaurants. I was going to take you there tonight. I'm sure it will be even more fun. I persisted, trying everything I could not to be stuck here watching another shitty TV show. No, I'm watching TV today. I won't be swayed by you, Porsche. You're ungrateful. Vegas came alone without any lackeys. The least you could have done was smack him. Tankun kept nagging me, an indignant idiot. Vegas could just be confused if I suddenly smacked him out of the blue. That would be my reaction if it happened to me. Anyways, Tankun was such a moron. But Mr. Tankun, Mr. Vegas didn't do anything wrong. There's no reason for me to hit him, I said truthfully. Tankun immediately turned to furiously glare at me, grabbing my wrist and forcing me to follow him outside his room. What the hell? Where are you taking me? I asked Tankun. He dragged me to the second floor, then opened the door to Ken's room and dragged me inside. What? Ken asked, looking up from his computer to glare at both of us in confusion. Pete, who was standing next to Ken's bed, also looked perplexed. You take him back! Tankun flung my hand away, making me stagger a little. Oh, is he no fun anymore? Ken glanced at me and cracked a smile. I quickly turned away and looked at Tankun, baffled. He's fun to have around, but he defied me. He didn't smack Vegas in the head when I told him to. Tankun said, I want to watch TV now, and Pete is more into TV than Porsche is. Pete glared at Tankun in shock and shook his head. It's up to you. I happen to want him. King glanced at me when he paused, which gave me goosebumps. Shit. But Mr. Tankun, didn't you want to hang out with me? I blurted out. Being with Tankun drove me crazy, but it was safer than being with Ken. I didn't even want to go near that bastard. I just couldn't catch a break around here. Right. Mr. Tankun, didn't you say things were more exciting with Porsche? But suddenly cut in. He looked at Ken pleadingly. Please, please, please. Damn, if I want to go out, I'll ask you. But now I'm mad at you. Give me a walkie-talkie. Give me my walkie-talkie back. Tankun yelled, holding out his hand. I shook my head. Fuck. I couldn't stay with Ken. Pete, you go back to your boss. I want to know how exciting things are with Porsche, Ken said with a smile. Pete hesitated, pressing his lips together before walking toward Tankun. I'm doing this for you, Mr. Ken, Pete mumbled under his breath and cried, also under his breath. Give me the walkie-talkie. Give me the walkie-talkie now! Tankun demanded, when I didn't move to give it to him. He snatched it from my pocket. Rude. Mr. Tankun, next time Mr. Vegas comes, I'll smack him in the face. I promised, trying to placate Tankun. I needed to get away from this place. I did not want to stay here. I was dying to leave the house now that I knew Kid wanted to fuck me. No! It's too late, Tankun yelled. Let's go, Pete. I'll throw a party to welcome you back. Let's watch TV all night. Tankun grabbed Pete, who looked like he wanted to die, and stormed out the room. The door slammed shut with a bang. I nervously shifted back and forth on my feet, my hair standing on end, and Ken stared at me. What if he wanted to jump every man that goes close to him? What would I do? I was one of his bodyguards. Oh, frick! Would he try to me? No! Call the police, right now. What's wrong? Ken smiled and turned back to his computer. I stayed silent. Since Ken hadn't asked me to do anything for him, I figured I could just wait outside. It was safer that way. I wanted to stay far, far away from him for as long as I could. Where are you going? Ken demanded as I touched the doorknob. I'll be outside, I said without turning to him. Why? I'm tired. I want to sit down, I mumbled. Sit here on the sofa. No need to leave, Ken replied. I thought I wasn't allowed to sit on your sofa, I said, still facing the door. A shiver crept down my spine as I sensed Ken move toward me. What are you so afraid of? You sat on it and slept on it before, Ken said. I felt his cold voice ghost over the nape of my neck, giving me goosebumps. I turned to face him and pushed him away. Why did he love standing so close to my back? It gave me the creeps. What the hell is your problem? Ken asked, stumbling a little from being pushed. He frowned as he watched me. I'll I'll just sit outside. I opened the door, but his hand shot out to close it. I didn't say you could leave. Ken fixed his gaze on me. I silently stared at him as he approached. When he walked toward me, I slowly stepped back, but Ken didn't let up until my back hit the wall. I avoided eye contact and tried to figure out a way to escape, but Ken put both his hands on the wall, trapping me between his arms. Cabezón! What the hell? Let me go! I exclaimed, my heart pounding in fear. What would I do if Ken made a move on me? Ken shifted close to our faces, almost touching. What's your problem? Why don't you look at me? Ken whispered, giving me more goosebumps. Wait, wait. Why was I afraid of him? If he tried anything, I could just kick his ass easily. Let me go. I'll hit you if you try anything. I tried to push him off with both hands. Ken laughed. Are you afraid of me? I shut my eyes tightly, lowered my head, and continued shoving at his raw chest. He was ridiculously strong. What did this guy eat? Ken stood his ground as I pushed him, even as the veins in my arms started to pop from exertion. Afraid of what? Move. I'll kick your ass, I yelled. I felt Ken's warm breath on my cheek. I wasn't sure why. Maybe it was my injury, but I couldn't use all my strength to push Ken. Which was probably why he wasn't budging. Suddenly, Ken grabbed my wrist, dragged me to the sofa, and swiftly pushed me down onto it. Shit, what are you doing? I shouted and tried to get up, but Ken pressed me back down with his arm. Sit still, or do you want me to sit on you? Ken scolded me until I stopped resisting. He towered over me, pushing me down as he had done many times before. One of his hands pressed firmly against my shoulder as he turned to rummage for something from the drawer at the coffee table. I tried to pry his hand off me. Let go! Stay still. What do you think I'm gonna do? Ken said before letting go of my shoulder and placing a first aid box on the table. Once freed, I started to stand, but Ken yanked my wrist, pulling me back to sit on the sofa. If you get up again, I'll tie you to the fucking couch. Ken was serious, glaring at me with fierce eyes. I sat back down. However, I shifted away from him as he sat down next to me. What are you doing? I pushed myself toward the edge of the sofa. I felt like a girl about to lose her virginity, like a virgin. Hey! Touched for the very first time. Sorry. I promised myself I would kick Ken right in the face if he tried anything. Come closer, Ken ordered, taking my wounded right arm in his hand and pulling it harder, making me slide over to him. That hurts, asshole. Stay still and it won't hurt. It's so damn exhausting trying to fix your wound. Ken shook his head. He held my arm with one hand while opening the first aid box with the other. He took out cotton balls and disinfectant. What are you doing? I asked. Don't move. I need to redress your wound. Ken replied. No need. I can take care of it. I shouted. I'm going to do it. You know what will happen if you resist, right? Ken pointed at me before letting go both of my hands to open the medicine bottle. Don't you dare get up again or I'll soak your arm in rubbing alcohol. Ken laid on one of my legs across my lap. Ken laid one of his legs across my lap to prevent me from getting up. I tried to push him off, but he kept it in place. Let go of me, I growled. Shit, Porsche. I just want to redress your wounds. Don't be such a pussy. Ken sighed, pushing my sleeve up my arm. I hated this, but I was powerless to do anything, grunting in dissatisfaction. I allowed Ken to cling around my wound with a cotton swab. The alcohol felt cold on my skin. I screamed. I had no doubt he'd pour it all over my arm. Has your injury not healed at all? Ken asked, soaking a cotton ball in an iodine solution and dabbing it on the wound. Of course it hasn't. How can it heal if you keep grabbing my arm? I frowned as he gently tended to my wound. Ken focused on dressing my arm and asking me from time to time if it hurt, but I didn't answer. Somehow I couldn't tear my eyes away from the godlike face. He had a thin nose, piercing eyes, and full lips, which matched his face and hairstyle perfectly. I felt sorry for all the girls out there. How could he be gay when he was this handsome? What are you staring at? I quickly averted my gaze, pretending to look at my arm where King was neatly bandaging it. But why had he spoken to me so softly just now? I never heard him speak like that. My heart skipped a beat, dude. Maybe because I was seeing a side of him that I had never seen before. Come on, are you done? I grumbled. Ken looked up at me and smiled. You are? I continued. That was fast. Ken smiled, turned teasingly. I paused slightly and then pulled my arm back. I pushed Ken's leg off my lap, attempting to get up again. But before I had even the chance to steady myself, Ken grabbed my waist and pressed me flat on my back. Brick! I shouted as I thrashed against Ken. He straddled my body and pressed down with all his weight, the way he was clearly so fond of. I'm not finished yet. Why are you trying to escape, huh? Trying to get up? Ken demanded. Our faces were mere inches apart. Let me go, damn it, let me go, I yelled, struggling to push myself up. Ken smirked before grabbing my wounded arm and pressing it firmly against my chest. Time seemed to grind to a halt. The urge to resist faded instantly as I stared blankly ahead. Ken slowly pressed his lips next to the gauze, gently kissing my arm. That will soon, he said, raising his head. He smiled, then pulled away from me. I remembered motionless, stunned by his action. I'm done. Ken slowly put the equipment back in the box. I stared. I started returning to my senses. Half sitting, half lying on the couch, I raised my foot and kicked Ken's hip with all my strength. What the fuck are you doing? I exclaimed. If Ken had done that to a woman, there was no doubt he'd score. But when it came to men, specifically a man like me, mwah, I wanted to punch him, damn it. I stormed out of Ken's room as Ken cussed me out, demanding to know why I kicked him when he just treated my wound. You? I didn't ask you, you bastard. I stalked to the garden to smoke. Ha! Why are you making that face? Pete asked, laughing out loud at the terrified expression on my face. My heart, still pounded like crazy. I suppose it was because of Ken's underhanded behavior. You bastard of a boss! You bastard of a boss! I snarled. If he messed with me again, I'd kill that fool. Pete laughed again. You look paranoid, Porsche. Are you afraid of Mr. Kin? He teased me. Damn it, you, Kin. I hope you become infertile. I shouted. Nice try, Porsche, but Kin isn't getting anyone pregnant anytime soon. Pete wheezed with laughter until his body bent in half. Oh, damn, I'm completely paranoid now because of you. I pointed out accusatory finger towards Pete. Oh, Mr. Kin won't force you. He wouldn't do anything without consent. Oh, a consenting king, we like. Pete trailed off, glancing at me. I raised my foot to kick him hard in the leg with a loud thud. What a pain in the ass. And Kin would definitely force himself on someone. He held me down several times already. I don't believe you, I yelled. Huh? Mr. Kin is just flirting with you. Try to resist his charms, baby. He replied. I slapped him in the head. You're so annoying. How about you? Have you fallen for his charms yet? I demanded, wanting to know if Kin treated everyone the same way. If that were true, yeah, then I'd be in trouble. Look at my face. He exclaimed. Mr. Kin would puke. But you're handsome. And you've got a great body, dude. I chased Pete around the garden until he raised both his hands in Surrender. That annoying bastard. He asked for it. So, had no one else around Kin been treated like this, or was Pete an exception? Pete's face really wasn't that bad. Damn. Why did Kin single me out? Why me? Damn it, why me, Kin? I cursed, standing with my hands on my hip, unable to get Kin out of my head. Can get you out of my mind. By the way, you're cute when you're drunk. Pete teased me with a giggle. I chased after him again. I had no idea what was Pete's problem, but he was irritating me like his life depended on it. What was I going to do? I wouldn't let Ken freak me. I would guard my assets with my life. Ken didn't summon me for anything else the rest of the night. It looked like he had already gone to bed. I hoped he drooled in his sleep. I sat in front of his room for a while and went to hang out with Pete, Paul, and Arm for the time, from time to time. The night passed uneventfully. The next day, Ken was back to his usual self. He treated me like his personal servant, asking me to fetch documents, snacks, and anything else he wanted. I tried to avoid it by delegating tasks to his lackeys, being alone with him as little as possible. Sometimes he would walk up to me and I would run out of the room, not letting him get close to me. I often heard faint laughter as I left, and he didn't sound angry. Damn it! Why did I have to be so scared of him? If he comes too close, just kick his ass, Porsche. Just do it. Just do it. Da 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 da. Sunday. Nearly everyone in the household has gathered at a swanky hotel in the middle of the city. Mr. Corn was holding a dinner table. He was holding a dinner party, not a table. He's not that strong. But he was holding a dinner party in the luxurious banquet hall on the hotel's first floor. Ken said it was a reception for a bunch of new foreign clients who would soon be partners in the family business. There was a variety of food and drinks available, including expensive imported alcohol. Everyone was dressed up in formal attire, me included. I wore my bodyguard uniform, a white shirt, black suit jacket, black slacks, and dress shoes. Today's event was especially fancy, so I decided to style my hair a little bit, which made Pete, and Paul tease me. Non-effing stop. Holy shit, Porsche, selling your hair makes you so handsome. The girls here, wow, they can't take their eyes off of you. Paul teased me. I cocked my eyebrows at him twice to emphasize his point. I felt the same way. I could tell, the businessmen's daughters were eyeing me. Not just the ladies, but some of the young men can't seem to look away either, Pete added, looking at a slender young gentleman. Who was staring directly at the goods, baby? Me. No thanks, I replied immediately. I'm sorry, man, you're not my type. Not the guy, that guy, Pete said. I looked over the guy's shoulder and saw Ken glaring at me with a stern look on his face. He waved me over, so I had to leave my group of friends and walk straight to him. What? I asked him in a low voice. Ken was talking to a group of foreign business associates. Mr. Korn, Kim, and Kun were also there. Kun had finally taken a colored strand out of his hair. Thank goodness. Follow me closely and don't cause any trouble, Ken said in a stern voice. What was I doing to cause trouble? I'd just been watching him. Pete told me to keep my distance and walk around the room. Yeah, I said, slightly irritated. I distanced myself a bit from Ken's group. I walked along, keeping a reasonable space between myself and Ken, as he instructed. Pete had mentioned we couldn't eat anything yet. We had to wait until after the event for food. Mr. Korn had ordered specifically for us bodyguards. Right now, our job was to keep an eye on things. I was hoping someone would pull a gun, and schmoot Kin. Now that makes the tedious event more exciting. Porsche, you're looking handsome today. A familiar voice came close by. I turned around and smiled in response. Hello, I greeted Vegas politely. His suit immediately intimidated me a little. It looked just as fancy as Kin's. Have you eaten yet? Vegas asked, cheerful as always. Oh, I've already eaten a little bit, I replied, keeping my voice and expression neutral. I had snuck some chocolate from Kin's room earlier that evening. Why would you like to try this? Vegas asked. I'll set some aside for you. Vegas lifted his trim cocktail glass. I declined immediately, knowing that if I ate something at the event, Kin would absolutely rake me over the coals. Why, did Pinkin forbid you? I nodded. Kin hadn't explicitly forbidden me from eating at the event, but he told me again and again in his room and in the car to not cause any trouble. He even pulled me aside a minute ago to repeat the same order. Did he see me as some kind of shit stirrer or what? Yeah, Dad is calling, came a voice accompanied by a hateful glance in my direction. It was that Macau guy. I remembered him vividly. Be there in a sec. Porsche, will you still be around later? I'll stop to talk to you, Vegas said. Yeah, I replied. Vegas grinned at me and walked away with his younger brother. Today, the major clan and minor clan were all smiles, greeting the reception guests warmly. However, the overall atmosphere of the event seemed kind of fake, though. They only ate a little bit of the food and barely sipped their drinks. It was uncomfortable to watch. What were you talking to Vegas about? I turned around, surprised to find Kin there. He frowned, watching as Vegas walked away. Mind your own business? I snapped. Watch yourself. I told you not to get close to the minor clan, and I know, and not to cause any problem, no trouble. You've got it drilled in my head now, I said before Kin could finish. He smiled satisfied. Good. And keep your eyes on me, not other people, Kin said before going back to cheerfully greeting guests at the event. I scolded him. Who did he think he was, a precious little panda that I had to constantly monitor? I wasn't a zookeeper. After Ken left, a waiter walked over to me with a tray that held a glass of whiskey. Sir, someone sent this for you. I frowned slightly and scanned the room, but I didn't see anyone looking at me. I hesitated. Should I take it? Was it appropriate? I think I glanced at Ken. He was currently shaking hands and greeting the elderly guest. The waiter picked up the glass from the tray and offered it to me again. Please take it, sir. One drink won't hurt. I looked down at the whiskey, reluctant to take it. The waiter must have known that I was on duty. I really wanted to try the expensive booze, though. Please take it, sir, as a matter of courtesy, the waiter repeated, with a pleading look on her face. All right, then. I turned slightly to face the wall and downed the shot in one gulp. It was only half a glass, so it shouldn't hurt. The alcohol was strong. I squinted at the pungent smell and cringed as it burned my throat. Tasted good, though. Please give them my thanks, I said, placing the glass back on the tray and searching the room for any woman who might be looking at me. I didn't find one. The only person watching me was Kin, who glanced at me now and then. It was a relief he didn't catch me drinking that shot. Otherwise, he would have run over and smacked me right in the middle of the fancy event. Then there was Vegas, who looked at me and smiled, waving his hand. I smiled back politely. That guy was ridiculously well-mannered. I watched Kin for a while before the same waiter came back with more whiskey. Here you go, again, he said, handing me the glass. I pointed at myself in surprise. Who's sending these over? Can you tell me? I asked, looking through the crowd again. He didn't mention his name, but please take it. I'll cover you. The waiter, who knew his job too well, showed the glass into my hand and stood in front of me, blocking me from everyone's view. Is this really okay? If my boss finds out, he's gonna kill me. I felt a little guilty after drinking that first glass. I couldn't care less about Kin, but I didn't want, to disrespect Mr. Corn. He would be disheartened, the waiter whispered to me. I snuck a glass at Kin again. He was busy talking to someone, so I downed a glass of whiskey in one go. I wasn't a formal failing to have a drink occasionally. Just 2 glasses should be fine, right? I didn't get drunk that easily, so I should be able to handle a couple shots of whiskey. I placed the empty glass on the tray. Don't bring me another glass next time, I told the waiter. Just tell them I said thanks. The waiter nodded and walked away. I looked at the departing figure with a frown before shifting my gaze back to Ken. I walked closer to Ken and started moving around him in circles. Ken turned to smile at me in satisfaction. I pretended to be working, otherwise he might not pay me at the end of this month, and I needed the money. Ken suddenly slipped away from the group. Are you hungry? He whispered to me in a low voice. At the moment, I was hit by a wave of dizziness. I stared at Ken, furrowing my brows, and I started seeing double. It kept getting worse until I shook my head slightly. Are you okay? Ken looked at me confused. I'm fine. The lights were too bright. I got a little dizzy. The spotlight from the stage was shining right in my face, so I guess my eyes did not adjust quickly enough. I thought you were going to faint from hunger, Ken said with a smirk. I was starting to feel better. The dizziness was gone, and my vision returned to normal, so I turned to Ken with a smug look on my face. If I'm hungry, will you let me eat? I asked quietly, raising an eyebrow. No, I'm just telling you to hang in there. Wait a little longer, okay? Ken teased before nudging his brother to resume their conversation. I cursed him silently before resuming my walk around the room. However, as soon as I lifted my foot to move forward, the dizziness from earlier came back. I barely kept my balance this time. I was able to catch the edge of the table next to me before I fell. I was lucky no one noticed, but Pete must have seen it since he was rushing towards me. Are you okay? Pete asked, walking over and grabbing my arm as soon as I was able to steady myself. I waved my hand. Nah, I'm okay. Just a little dizzy from the lights. The sensation of the world spinning came and went, and it was starting to fade away again. I knew with absolute certainty that I was not drunk. Because being drunk did not feel like this. And even if I was, 2 glasses couldn't have made me this dizzy. Could it be some mysterious illness? Do you want to sit down and rest? Pete asked, concerned. No. I'll just go to the restroom. Keep an eye on Ken for me. I'll be back in a bit, I told Pete. I quickly walked to the bathroom. The dizziness went away, but another feeling replaced it. A burning sensation. It coursed through my body, making me feel restless and uneasy. As soon as I locked myself in a bathroom stall, I pulled the toilet seat down and sat on it. The dizziness returned, accompanied by a strange sort of arousal. I reached into my pants and felt my oh my. I didn't know when I'd gotten so hard. I took a deep, heavy breath, overwhelmed by the tightness and throbbing pain throughout my whole body. The stall door in front of me began to blur, and a hazy confusion clouded my senses. The sensation gradually intensified, and I started to see images repeat in my head. First, the girl I almost hooked up with at the club, but then the image shifted to Ken, to the night we got drunk and he kissed me. It felt insanely good. I bit my lip hard, trying not to think about it. No. Sweat seeping out of my body. I was so hot. It felt like my body was on fire. It took incredible effort not to loosen my belt and alleviate the discomfort. Before I could do anything, a forceful knock at the bathroom door startled me, making me jump. I wanted to scream out in anger, but just thinking about making a sound made me so lightheaded, and I could barely see what was right in front of me. Who's, who's in? Oh wait, no. Who's in there? Come out. Let, let's break the door. I heard 2 people speaking, but I couldn't understand them. My mind felt numb and my hands were losing strength, but the sensation of my body remained intense. For long, they pried the stall door open. I vaguely remember trying to struggle free, but I was quickly dragged out of the restroom. My mind shattered, and I didn't have enough strength to resist. Overwhelming desire surged through my body at the moment. I wanted nothing other than maximum relief. I was carried up an elevator and hauled into some room. After a while, my body was forcefully tossed into a large bed. Then I heard unintelligible noises. Is the boss going to come up now? Looks like he can't handle it anymore. What did you give him? The first glass was to make him woozy. The second glass was just the love drug. That was too easy. Just tempting him with alcohol when he fell for it. Why didn't you use a sedative? That would have been easier. Come on, the boss wants to have fun. If he's unconscious, what's the point? Then we should have captured him fully conscious. That'll be way more fun. You don't know shit. This guy is too much to handle. If we capture him without drugging him first, he'd have us. Doing it this way will be more enjoyable for our boss. I ignored their conversation. My body contorted as arousal coursed through me, nearly bringing me to an orgasm. I reached down to loosen my belt, but a hand firmly grabbed my arm, preventing me from touching myself. This frustrated me even further. Damn it! My brain couldn't process anything. I didn't know what to do. What was wrong with me? Why did I feel so hot and uncomfortable? Be patient. My boss wants to have his way with you, said the person holding my arm. I could only vaguely grasp the meaning of that sentence. I tried to stay conscious, but my mind was too muddled. My gut told me I was in danger. Who was this boss? Have what way with me? Had I been drugged? What should I do? I didn't know how much time had passed as I lay thrashing on the bed. Then my hands were freed from their restraint, and I felt someone pressing against me. I tried to focus, seeing a sleek black suit and a face leaning close. The tip of someone's nose brushed against my cheek. The smell of a classic cologne filled my senses. I scrunched up my nose as the somewhat familiar scent. The face of the man on top of me was blurry, but I remembered someone who had been stuck in my head in the entire time. Kid? I rasped. Smack! Ow! I exclaimed, my face jerking from the forceful slap. My skin tingled in response. You're with me now. You're not allowed to speak his name. I heard an ice-cold voice speak, but I could not identify who it was. I tried to compose my sentence. If this person wasn't Kin, who was he? But right now, I could barely comprehend anything. The more pain I felt, the more responsive my body became. Those hickeys on your neck. He gave them to you, right? No worries. I'll cover them up. I felt him nuzzle my neck with the hard tip of his nose. Then he bit and sucked on my skin until I felt pain and pleasure all at once. I immediately responded at the sensation, my head replaying the time when Kin did this to me. I bit my lip, inevitably yielding to the kisses and bites in my neck, and the lips sliding over to caress my own. Do Ken's POV. Have you found him? I asked Pete. Something happened every time I went out with that damn bodyguard of mine, and it was aggravating. He'd been missing for half an hour already. Pete ran out toward me and handed me a black mobile phone. I can't find Porsche, he panted. Not even in the smoking room, but I found this in the bathroom. Pete, Arm, and Paul seemed as worried and frustrated as I was. Why did Porsche love to cause so much trouble? I insisted time and time again that he behave himself, and I tried to keep him in my sight, but he slipped away from me in the end. I couldn't seem to get Porsche out of my head. Even now, he was frustrating me. Ever since his little stunt at the shootout the other day, I had been worried for his safety. I was afraid that the allies of the Porsche's victim would seek vengeance and try to kill him. And now Porsche had vanished without a trace. There's no sign of Porsche, Mr. Kin, one of the bodyguards said. I told a few of my men to spread out and look for Porsche. It was very suspicious to find his cell phone abandoned in the bathroom. I had a bad feeling that something terrible might have happened to him. Two scenarios came to mind. Either he'd been jumped or the minor clan had swayed him to their side. Porsche seemed close to Vegas lately. Porsche was exceedingly talented, and the minor clan surely must have noticed. However, I was afraid that my first suspicion was more likely. They finally let us check the security footage from the lobby, sir, Pete said as he ran back to inform me. I immediately followed him to the hotel lobby. Was in the hotel lobby. Sorry. It seems that the security camera has malfunctioned. The technician is trying to recover the files again right now. This information made me suspect foul play. It was ridiculous to think that the CCTV cameras in the hotel malfunctioned at the same time. I glared intensely at Pete, afraid that Porsche might be badly injured, or worse. Let me take a look, said Arm, Tankun's bodyguard. Arm was proficient in IT system and ran a CCTV system at our house. Arm moved in to examine the monitor and typed something on the keyboard. I looked around the area, smiling at the guests, still pacing in and out the party through the front gate. The event was still in progress, but I excused myself to search for Porsche. If I found out he disappeared just to slack off, I'd give him the punishment of his life. That man caused us so much trouble. I found 2 working cameras, Arm announced. Static-filled images gradually materialized on the once blackened screen. They were shots of the floor and the inside of the elevator. Rewind to half an hour ago now, I ordered. Arm quickly compiled Arm quickly complied and I did not expect to find anything because it was footage from inside the hotel. If someone dragged Porsche outside, they'd be long gone by now. Shit, what the hell? Arm stared at the screen in shock. It was also I was also perplexed by what played on screen. A group of men dressed in black, dragged Porsche, who appeared to be unconscious from the first floor into the elevator. Footage from inside the elevator showed one of the men pressing a button and carrying him out as soon as he reached the 8th floor. All of us rushed to the elevator and pressed the button to call it. It stood there restlessly as we waited for the elevator to arrive, uncertain about Porsche's fate. Mr. Kinn, your father is asking for you, Big yelled at me, but I ignored him. He hurried over to me. Where are you going, Mr. Kinn? He asked cautiously. I remained silent, keeping my gaze fixed on the floor number, tickling down on the elevator screen, impatiently waiting for it to reach the first floor. Your father really did ask for you. Please come with me, Big insisted, grabbing my arm and attempting to pull me back into the party. Let go of me and get lost, I loudly told him off. My anger and frustration had built up to the point of agitation. I was worried about Porsche. I needed to know if something had happened to him. I told myself I told myself I only cared about him because I wanted to have a taste of him. Porsche was attractive and he had a great body, but it wasn't like I liked him. I just wanted, to get his annoying, scowling face out of my head. Yeah, you say that to yourself. Maybe just keep on. That river will never be lonely. Mr. Kinn, I ignored Big. Pete and my other men came to block the path, pointing at him threateningly before following me into the elevator. Pete pressed the button to the 8th floor, looking as concerned for Portia as I was. Do you think he'll be alright? Arm asked, looking uneasy as he paced back and forth across the elevator. Pete glanced at me slightly and then told Arm to stop. That calmed Arm down a bit. I stared intensely at each floor's number as the elevator ascended, wishing we could have flown straight to the 8th floor. As the next page. As the elevator doors finally opened, I saw some men in black suits running away from the fire escape. We immediately followed them because it was incredibly suspicious. However, Pete and I abruptly stopped our chase as we noticed a door at one of the rooms was left open. Without a second thought, we barged in. Oh! I quickly recognized the voice of the man, growling in pain. Relief flooded through me to know Porsche was still alive. I strode inside the suite, finding Porsche on a large bed. He was dressed only in his boxers, and his bare chest was covered in hickeys. I frowned as I watched him thrash around in agony. Porsche, what happened? I gasped. I thought I'd find him beaten up on a trampled on, but this was help. Porsche cried hoarsely, his eyes fluttering open to look at me. Standing at the foot of the bed, I sat down on the mattress and used both of my hands to help pull him up. My eyes scanned Portia's body and found it covered with slap marks, bites, and hickeys. It was there in stunned silence, not knowing how to react. I sat there, not knowing how to react. Is is that you, Ken? He asked, biting his lips. Yes, it's me. Who did this to you? I replied, my heart in my mouth. I couldn't bear to see him like this. I I don't know. They drugged me. How? Porsche answered, his voice trembling with suppressed emotion. I glanced at Porsche's boxers. The front was tented up and damp with clear fluid. My eyes widened. I was unable to comprehend that those bastards had drugged Porsche. Leave us, I told my bodyguard. Leave us, Pete, I told my bodyguard. He looked pitiful at his friend, pursing his lips tightly before walking out of the room and closing the door behind him. Did they do anything to you? I asked, still holding his arm to keep him sitting upright. Help! Porsche cried weakly. His head fell forward until he rested his forehead on my shoulder. The sound of his shaky breath was loud against my ears, stirring something within me. Find me, find me a hooker, or a girl somewhere. I can't hold back. Porsche pleaded, looking at me with lustful eyes. His soft moan made me swallow as I tried hard not to react to the temptation in front of me. And where would I find them? I asked Porsche, before taking another deep breath to control myself. Porsche lifted his hands and lightly pounded on my chest. Please, or just take me to a massage parlor. You know, that kind of massage parlor. Porsche begged, his quivering voice pleasing to my ears. I bit my lip angrily, thinking they must have given him a very potent drug. Just, give all the old handy. I'll wait outside, dude. Just give yourself a helping hand. I finally answered. Despite how turned on I was seeing Porsche in this state, I didn't want to have, schmecks with him without his consent. Because nothing is sexier than consent, you know that. While I could admit that I liked to take liberties with him, I had never attempted to force myself on him. I, I can't. It's not enough. Porsche protested, sounding even more distressed. Then he pressed himself against me, slightly, nearly pushing me to my breaking point. What do you want me to do? I'm the one here, and I don't. Oof. Porsche threw his arm around my neck and pulled me down for a kiss, cutting me off mid-sentence. I was stunned for a moment before I closed my eyes and kissed him back. One of my hands went to cradle Porsche's face, tilting it slightly so I could suck and bite onto the red, pouty bottom lip. Mmm, sounds, yay. The sound of Porsche's throaty moan aroused me even more. The moment he opened his mouth and gasped for air, I slipped my tongue inside, tangling it with his and exploring his mouth. Should I read this? Should I give a disclaimer for content? Um, Guys, I think we're getting schmexual. We're getting schmecks? Hopefully not. My boy can't consent, but let's see. So blah 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 blah. Porsche moan, then we continue sucking. Keep on that make-out session. Um, sucking on each other's tongues. Neither of us wanted to stop. I couldn't deny it. Porsche was a good kisser. He does look like he's a good kisser. I broke the kiss, nuzzling my nose against his cheek and pressing my lips there instead. I altered between kissing and licking his cheeks before moving down to the curve of his neck, which was covered in hickeys. Anger flared inside of me as I noticed fresh marks covering all the ones I had left on Porsche's skin. Eager to reclaim my territory, I began forcefully sucking and biting his neck until Porsche hissed in pain. Hey, that hurts! He cried, lightly smacking the back of my neck. I encouraged him to lie down on the mattress, and he complied without resisting. My tongue returned to lap at the skin of his neck, this time targeting his prominent Adam's apple. I licked and sucked at the skin, leaving a new trail of bite marks along the way. Porsche turned his face upwards, willingly accepting my advances. The drug those men had given him must have been very powerful, because he started to grab me, through my suit. I stopped kissing his neck for a moment so I could start removing my clothes, smirking as Porsche panted and looked up at me. Oh la la. I don't want to do this with someone unwilling, I said, raking my eyes over the man beneath me. I didn't want to stop, but I needed Porsche's unequivocal. I needed him to consent, baby. I needed him to be in his full senses when I go down. Okay? I wanted to be sure that I wasn't doing anything against his will, even when his body obviously showed his desire. But there's nothing sexier than consent, so consent is what we are looking for, baby. I don't know, but I can't stand it anymore. Porsche groaned, twisting his body around. It turned me on so much that I almost forgot how he'd gotten into this position. If you want to have sex with me, I will, but if not, tell me to stop, I said, shucking my jacket and tossing it to the floor. I was about to unbutton my shirt, and Porsche gasped in reply, do it. I smiled at how husky his voice sounded and finally shrugged my shirt off, tossing it to land somewhere near my jacket. Bending down, I kissed Porsche deeply, our tongues once again entwined in a sensual dance, neither of us letting go of the other. My hand moved across his chiseled chest and squeezed it hard. I found a perky pink nipple and rubbed it firmly with my fingers. Oh my God. Porsche's moans and groans, oh my Jesus, were fuel to the flames of my desire. I kissed down the columns of my neck to his chest, his body arching up deliciously at the touch. My mouth closed around his, nippy nips, and sucked it hard, twirling my tongue around it before moving my mouth to lavish attention to the other one. Ooh, equal attention to lefty and righty. Porsche's sinewy, his body fascinated me. No matter where I laughed or sucked, it would pull delicious moans from him. I couldn't wait any longer. I had to get inside this man. I needed to get him pregnante. Now! I unbuckled my belt and opened the clasp of my pants while kissing down his torso. Porsche's muscular abs really did something to me. Ugh, crazy things. And I couldn't help sucking more marks on them. Then, my hands went to his slender waist, squeezing and rubbing it gently before pulling his boxers all the way down to his knee. I stopped kissing his skin, pulling away to look at Porsche's manhood. It looked painfully hard, the head glistening with pre-concentration. Groaning in delight in the sight, I wrapped my hands around his... What word can I use to substitute this one? Log. Porsche startled and grabbed my shoulder tightly as I kissed down his stomach and stroked his length at the same time. His belly tensed with the rhythm of my hand, and he tossed his head from side to side as arousal flowed through his body. I can't, he groaned, digging his nails into the meat of my shoulder. The pain turned me on even more, masochist, as I straightened up on the bed, giving him a helping hand, faster, and fumbling with my other hand to free my own log. I stared intensely at him, giving myself a helping hand as the same rhythm, wondering if Porsche knew just how much she turned me on. Frick! I'm gonna concentrate! Porsche whined, tensing up for a moment before concentrating all over my hand and his own stomach. I continued to give myself a helping hand. My ding dong, ding 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 dong, ding 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 dong, ding 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 dong, becoming painfully hard at the sight of Porsche panting in exertion. This man was too effing sexy. Did he did he fuck you? I asked, my voice trembling a little. No, there's a condom in my pants pocket, Porsche replied, gesturing haphazardly at the floor. I furrowed my brows slightly and said, your condom won't fit me, it's too small. Porsche's log looked somewhat above average, but it was still smaller than mine. I had a full tree log, baby. I bent over to pick up my discarded suit jacket and fumbled for my wallet. After finding a condom, I tore open the packet with my teeth. I won't F you raw, Porsche said. Put a condom on me. I frowned at Porsche. Did he think he would be the one freaking me? Sorry about that, Porsche. You can't freak me. I always stop. I quickly turned Porsche onto my stomach. He hadn't even started yelling at me before I rolled the condom down my log. No, I don't want that. Let me freak you. I tuggled at Porsche desperately and raised his hips so he was on his knees. I placed my body between his legs and used my knee to nudge them further apart. My finger gently stroked the cleft of his booty, prodding his dot. I sighed in relief to find it slightly untouched before smearing what was left of Porsche's coming cloud, tumbling on my finger. His concentration, that's the word I was using. Left on Porsche's concentration of my fingers around the tight. Guess I don't know what fucking lube is for. Damn. Rip KinnPorsche. They would have loved the invention of lube. He flinched away immediately, but his feeble state, he couldn't do much more than that. Ken, please, don't. Porsche begged me to stop, but it was too late. He was the one who agreed to have sex with me in the first place. You know you can take away consent, by the way. Yeah, you can just take consent away. It's a thing you can do, but I'm not the writer. Whatever. Look, I couldn't just not let this opportunity pass. Yes, you could. Porsche clawed at the bedsheet, and I pressed my finger against his dot. He was so damn tight, my fingertip could barely slip inside. I bit my lip hard, concentrating on working him open. This already feels so good. This already feels so good. Don't tense up, Porsche, I whispered, bending down to gently kiss his back while I steadied his hip. Porsche turned his face to the side, his brows knitting tightly together as I nibbled at his neck. I took a moment to steal another kiss from his lips before finally pushing my fingers in all the way to the knuckle. Whoa! Moving it around to stretch him. I alternated between sucking Porsche's bottom lip and thrusting my tongue inside his mouth. Porsche continued to wince in pain, but eagerly reciprocated my kiss until I pushed a second finger inside him. Ow, kid, that hurts! Porsche whined, unsuccessfully trying to push me off of him. Enough, kin! The way he moaned my name was so damn hot. I let go of his hip so I could use my other hand to give him a helping hand again. Porsche's log had stayed hard this entire time, but giving him his helping hand would distract him from the pain of being pickled. I pushed in slowly and forcefully until both of my fingers were inside his dot. As I continued to stretch him, Porsche buried his face into the mattress, biting the bedsheet harder to stifle his cries. The sight nearly sent me over the edge. I pulled my finger out immediately, ready to bury myself into him. Then, Kin, the horse protested, shaking his head frantically. I bit his lip hard and I slowly rubbed my log against his dot, giving him a taste of what was to come. Me. I wanted Porsche to know that his first time would hurt, from how tight he was and his obvious inexperience. I was certain that it was the first person to ever F this man. I straightened myself and pat on my log, spreading the saliva until it was just slick enough. There was no time to look for Lou. Oh, so Lou does exist in this world. Wow, shocker. So this would have to do. I knew the first times could be challenging, and Porsche would be in for a whole world of pain. However, I could not hold myself back any longer. With some difficulty, I began the process to head my log into him. Don't tense up. Just relax, I said, gently massaging Porsche's booty to comfort him as I took my time pushing inside. It it hurts. I don't want this anymore, Porsche said. Hey, don't clench down like that. I barely got the tippy top in. You're gonna make me concentrate, I hissed, sharply inhaling as a jolt of pleasure shot through me. It already felt so good. I just wanted to slam into Porsche and F him harder. However, I still had some sympathy for him, so I resorted to slicking up my log with more spit in the hopes of easing his pain. I tried one more time to force my way in. Ow, that hurt! Stop! Porsche cried, arching up as I kept pushing in. Try to relax. I won't hurt if you relax, I whispered in his ear, leaning down to kiss his cheek and playfully bite his earlobe. Porsche suddenly violently as I finally burned myself to the hilt. Ah, damn it, Kin! Porsche roared, pounding his fist against the mattress before turning to bite down harshly on my bottom lip. It really stung, but I found myself enjoying the sensation of pain. Masochist. It made me want to thrust into him even harder. F! He really turns me on. Porsche, you're so effing tight that you almost hurt me, I growled after pulling my lips free. Porsche's booty was so hot and tight, I couldn't help myself. I couldn't stop from moaning. Porsche thrashed around, still biting the bed sheets to muffle his cries. After pausing for a while, I started moving again, never able to control myself in throes of passion. I lifted myself up from Porsche's back and started pounding into him in the earnest. The force of my thrust made Porsche's body slide forward across the mattress, almost making my log slip out. I quickly braced my arm around his torso, pulling him back onto my log and effing into him deep. Porsche closed his eyes tightly as I freaked him senseless. I couldn't stop. Look, I'm the victim here. Fuck, Porsche! You feel so good! I grunted, throwing my head back at how good it felt to be inside this man. The tattoo covered his arm caught my eye, and it made me snap my hips forward even faster. I usually prefer lovers with flawless skin, but that tattoo on Porsche's arm, so sexy. So sexy. Damn, that man would be the death of me. The smack of flesh against flesh and the sound of passion and moaning echoed through the room. Porsche seemed to relax a little, starting to make keening noises of his own. Kin, it hurts. Porsche bit back a moan, turning his head black to glare at me, eyes glistening. He did not seem to notice that this action spurred me on, making me thrust more forcefully inside of him. My hand reverently caressed his skin, paying special attention to his tattooed arm before moving to tightly grip his waist. Porsche kept falling forward as I effed him passionately, and I had to pull him back up with kneeling position several times. Are you close? I asked breathlessly, as his booty began to rapidly clench around me. My pace became erratic as I pushed into him hard as I chased my release. Yeah, I'm close. I slowed down, changing the angle before driving deep and fast into Porsche. He gasped, moaning incomprehensible syllables as his body moved with each of my thrusts. I'm not saying that, fuck you. But whatever. He thrusted forward, hitting Porsche's prostate until I said the full word. Damn it. His prostate. Until he jolted up from the bed, smirking as I kept hitting the spot until he thrashed. Porsche's body tensed up before he spilled the beans. I hadn't even noticed his log. I effed into Porsche's booty until I tumbled over the edge with him. Oh, fuck! I groaned, thrusting in a few more times before my hips stilled. It felt amazing. Porsche's booty was so tight, and his walls kept pulsing around my log until I couldn't bear it any longer. I quickly pulled out and peeled off the condom before rolling a few onto my log. I turned onto his back and bent down to kiss him again. Porsche's body remained still. He shook his head. Let, let me go. You haven't had enough, see? You're hard again. I grabbed his hardening length to emphasize my point. Porsche's face contorted. But before he could utter another complaint. Damn, he should have started complimenting. I wanted that. You can't even compliment me after the first round? Come on. I continued to pursue our intimate action. The reason why we were in the situation tonight was lost on me. I even found myself thanking the person who, excuse you, whatever it was working wonderfully. We would probably be here all night. I didn't think we were, going to stop anytime soon. I finally got a taste of Porsche, and it was so much better than I ever imagined. And that's how we end? Holy cow. Okay, yeah, that's the end of chapter 15. That's the end of volume 1. KinnPorsche. Holy cow, you two really went off. Oh my god. So hot and heavy at the end. Yeah, that's the end. We didn't even get an image or anything. I don't know. They described very immature. I'm shocked. But yeah, that's the end. We literally finished volume 1 of KinnPorsche. We did it. We did it, team. We finally did it. Woo, woo, woo. I shouldn't probably clap because whatever. Just applause, round of applause. We did it. But yeah, if you guys been liking my reading, you can like, comment, and subscribe. I will be reading volume 2 soon, but yeah, if you guys want, I do have other books that I'm reading, like Heaven of His Blessing, King's Fall Compendium, and I did recently start reading The Grandmaster of the Model Cultivation. If you're interested in any of those, you can go to my channel and just they have their own little playlist you can see, and you can see the full playlist of this book, because yes, we have the full playlist of from chapter 1 to here. I don't know how to feel. We finished with a literal bang. But other than that, I hope you have a good day, night, wherever you are, however you are, and bye.